Alright, and we are live here with Table Talk Thursday, episode 44? I think that's what I said.
Yeah.
I believe though, let me just, it says 44.
44. Yep.
So 44.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this evening. We hope you've had a good day and here to watch the news as the world collapses around us.
Just, it's just a weekly occurrence, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But even more so because Trump's toupee. We have that story, right?
No, I'll edit it in.
Come on, I want to have jokes here.
Yeah, I'll put it in, don't worry.
Good.
Doing live edits, folks. That's what we do.
That's how you know we're real people.
We're doing it real time.
Man, a lot of people switching over and starting to use caffeine. Maybe we should triple stream the caffeine.
Oh, God.
Get some caffeine.
Also, I heard that these texts were faked. It's recently come out.
Interesting.
I have to double check that, so don't quote me on that. AOL never formats properly for me on their stupid website. At least on the phone.
There's a cat. Hi, cat.
Right.
Quite right.
Okay. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Anyways. To start us off on some Olympic news, because folks, you may not know, but the Olympics is starting soon.
Is it? I don't even keep up with that stuff.
It's the Winter Olympics, and nobody gives a shit about it, really. No, people care. People care more about the Summer Olympics now.
Yeah, the cool Olympics.
Yeah. But anyways, to start us off, we have a special report coming out of South Korea, where it's being held, of course, that dogs and puppies are being sold as food in South Korea ahead of the Olympics.
I mean, is that abnormal?
I mean, it's a bad practice that we should discourage. The Daily Mail is reporting that dogs and puppies are being sold in a South Korean food market, despite claims that the practice would end last May. The market, where up to 80,000 dogs are being sold and slaughtered, is located right outside Seoul. These dogs are eventually made into soup that is being sold for $8.
It's a decently priced soup.
It's oddly expensive, I feel.
I don't know. It's like the whole shark fin soup or whatever.
The Chinese people didn't know it was actually shark.
Yeah.
In May of 2017, the Songnam city government claimed that the market would close and that they would ultimately stop the dog meat trade. But the pictures captured by the Daily Mail show that puppies are being sold for as little as $9.20.
So, Kenneth, you want to take a gander on what bulgogi actually is? It's so good, though. But what if, Kenneth? What if? You're like, oh, no. I now know what to do with my dog in an apocalyptic situation. Bulgogi.
No, that Time World thing would not make bulgogi.
Do what?
So
you're... No.
Then again, they are killing puppies. It's terrible.
I mean, there's meat on every leg that's living, and it's an animal for the most part. So, yeah.
Anyways, the dogs are put in freezing cages before being slaughtered. Their fur is burned off and their carcasses are put up on display. Disgusting. Disappointed in you, South Korea. You're supposed to be one of the progressive nations in the Asian region. You're supposed to be an example to everybody. Except for your credit card debt, which is horrible. Y'all need to work on that shit.
I like the Tesla thing.
Yep. The authorities in the country have urged citizens not to eat dogs while the Olympics are in session due to international pressure.
You guys probably should do that.
I love that they
Just
have to
during
release a memo. Just like, yeah, no, don't eat dogs. We have visitors coming.
Pretty much.
Apparently, 1 in 3 Koreans have reportedly eaten dog meat at least once.
That's not out of the norm, because, again, the whole area of the world does weird shit like that. But when we see it as weird, they see it as okay. It's just like they eat bugs and stuff over there, too. China and all that.
That's true. But they, fry them up, and there's actual,
Yeah, you watch those
Nobody's
fat guys.
fighting for the fucking bugs.
Yeah. Even though that's still kind of a problem, I'm sure.
Kick as much roaches and scorpions as you like.
I don't know about all that.
Well, I don't know about the scorpions.
Yeah,
there's probably a problem and they need to be protected. Or something.
I mean, scorpions is more like in the use of fucking super hardcore Mexican tequila. They had scorpion for the extra bite.
Yeah.
That shit'll if you ever see any like scorpions or anything in like tequila that's like unlabeled, it comes out of Mexico. Be prepared to have fun experiences with your life.
Fun.
You're not gonna die, I don't think, but shit'll tear you up. I know. It's usually a sign of a good tequila. I still want to find that tequila oh wait, you weren't with me. That was just with Katie. I was gonna buy it last time I was over there. Oh, and we actually are getting a Specs. I saw the sign. There's actually a sign there that says Specs is coming here and Specs is hiring. It's gonna be tiny though.
I mean, it says WB Liquor.
WB Liquor is actually a decent shop, but I mean, like, it's gonna be small for Specs. You know, I'm used to Specs being
Yeah. I mean, we got
huge.
that Specs up in Rosenberg, and that's
about the usual size I think Specs are.
You know, I'll take a small Specs because at least that means I can then order from anything from like Specs online, and they'll be there at their store.
Oh, is that how that works?
I think so.
That and also Specs is cheaper than most of the places.
And like,
WB
Specs,
Liquor's pretty cheap.
You know, WB Liquor's pretty good. And also, like, if you need something from Specs, they'll order it to the store.
No, it's nifty.
So, at least I'm pretty sure they will. So it's like, there's pretty good benefits.
And before Kenneth's like, Nikolai Fruit Punch Vodka.
And then I'll be like, now then, we drink to Nikolai and hate ourselves.
Oh, yay.
I mean, I still...
Oh, my cat just climbed up on my computer.
Probably likes the warmth of it or something.
Yeah, she's just fucking around.
Anyways, well, cover the next one.
Anyway.
This is just a fun story.
At Pyeongchang Games, Norwegian Olympic team orders 15,000 eggs by mistake. The chefs for the Norwegian Olympic team were left with egg on their faces after a grocery order got lost in translation. All these puns in their literal.
Yeah, I know. They're horrible puns.
Like all ambitious nations at the games, the Norwegians have enlisted. Told you, cat. Have enlisted a small team of elite chefs. I wonder if the UK or somebody has Gordon Ramsay. Anyway, these chefs are leading experts in their fields and know exactly what type of nourishment is required to keep the Norwegian Olympics at peak physical
I'd
condition.
love to see Gordon Ramsay heading the British team of chefs. It's like, you idiots! We're cooking for Olympic athletes! This has to be perfect! It's rotten!
They do not, however, speak, read, or write Korean to any standard whatsoever. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Having put their trust in the free translation service Google Translate, oh no, the chefs received an eggy surprise when one of their first big grocery orders arrived. We received half a truckload of eggs. Chef Stale Johannesson told Norwegian news agency NTB the Norwegians had recovered a total of 15,000 eggs instead of the 1,500 they had attempt to order. 1,500? That's still a lot of fucking eggs.
That's a ton of eggs, yeah.
Fortunately, we were able to return most of them.
Yeah, we got a new follower. Thanks for following Jaja. It's Sleeper.
Yep. Fuck them, Jaja. Let me see if I can find out where that other one is. I can turn it off for you. Yeah, quick like. Main scene.
We're doing some live technical support. Anyways, they were able to return most of it, but they were quite surprised when they came in carrying eggs. There was just no end to it. Incredible. I'll say, it's like, oh, it was like somebody's coming back. The eggs are here. It's like, okay, bring them in.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Eternal eggs.
Yeah, it's like that song Eggman from the Big Bad Bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you haven't checked them out, do check out the album. They released their first album, and it is very good. It has with it Jesse Cox and Troy the Completionist, as well as two other people in the influential gaming scene.
Now on to Kenneth's favorite troll.
Hmm?
You finished the story. I said on to your favorite troll. Your story.
Yeah, yes. Oh.
Oh.
So, SpaceX. Space!
Sex.
Yes. For those who don't know, and I don't know how you could have missed this.
I didn't know.
Well, you're in a bubble of games and shit. You're in a bubble of space.
I mean, I like space. I'm just not happy
I mean,
about
hell,
a man
I had
standing
popcorn drinks and I had just watching the launch.
See, but I don't like walk around with fucking an invisible cock in my mouth and say Elon Musk all day. You laugh, but you know it's almost true. You're just like, oh, Elon, yes. I follow everything you do. What's that? You have a flamethrower? Let me buy that flamethrower from you.
No.
You're going to launch a rocket? Let me get food and a drink at work.
You damn... That was an event where, we stopped... We weren't doing anything, but we stopped everything.
They're like, hold on, we weren't doing anything.
So we just put it up on the projector, we killed the lights. We just...
They set the mood, so they could all just beat it. Let's get it. Somebody lit candles for mood lighting.
But yes, Tesla, SpaceX launched Elon Musk's first Tesla Roadster into space using the Falcon Heavy rocket, which was Elon Musk's new rocket to test out far-flung, launches, seeing how feasible it would be to get things to Mars and back and such. For that kind of thing, you need a heavy rocket. It is the most powerful rocket to launch since the Saturn V missions. So it's good 30, 40 years now. But however, this story is about how the damn thing was so powerful, it actually overshot Mars and is heading into the asteroid belt. Yes. So in the original plan, the car and the dummy, because they have Spaceman, and it's also blasting into the vacuum of space, David Bowie's Space Odyssey, or Space Oddity.
Something like that, yeah. Which I think is funny. How long is that battery supposed to last for is a good question.
I don't know.
I mean, and I was like, do they, my other question, do they have any telemetry equipment on it? Because they had the pictures of the Earth.
Yeah, they know where it's going, and they have cameras on it. I hope they, just send, a daily picture back from Earth from that thing. So we can see just the gradual progression of the destruction of that car.
Of the destruction of that car.
Because that's what's going to happen. For folks, if you don't know, Earth is protected by the magnetosphere, which stops a good 90-95% of a lot of the harmful radiation that comes through. However, in space, nothing is there to protect you. And radiation, UV radiation, all that jazz, does horrible things to biological matter.
Is it a biological fucking, dummy?
No, but the car is made of biological material. The leather seats, the carbon, fiber, the plastic, it'll all break down.
Plastic's not biological.
No, plastic's made of petroleum, which is carbon. That's what it is.
Plastic doesn't really break down.
No, plastic will break down.
We'll see. We'll see how long it takes. It shouldn't, because
it will.
They're space plastics.
I mean, they're not using it in their car. They're just
they might have modified the car.
I don't think so.
Because first of all, they added fucking telemetry equipment to it. So,
well, of course, you go on to keep track of where your satellite is.
No, but I mean, they added
they have
photo
cameras.
equipment and transmission equipment to the car.
Yeah, it was amazing. They were keeping on that damn thing while it was moving at freaking 15,000 kilometers a second, and they were keeping live feed coming from it. That's impressive as fuck. Mm-hmm. It was freaking tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, and they were still getting picture from that damn thing. It's god damn, that's pretty cool. But yes, so it's on its way to the asteroid belt that rings the very edge of our neighborhood, said Elon Musk. One of the bursts of fuel that gets burnt off to give it momentum had pushed it too hard and forced it away from its planned route.
It's basically like a Kerbal Space Program rocket gone, Kerbal Space Program.
Yes.
I mean, it's all right, so I'm going to hit the thrusters, we're going to get this percentage of thrust, whoops. There goes the elliptical orbit into the great unknown.
Well, we know where it's going. But this just shows how powerful the Falcon Heavy rocket is, and its ability to get out to the asteroid belt could be useful. Because, and as it says here, this could be incredibly valuable for private companies who hope to set up asteroid mining companies. That's actually a really big deal. I know a lot of rich people were talking about it 4 or 5 years ago. asteroid mining.
Well, see, part of that whole deal is it's just like in Kerbal Space Program or anything. The problem we have is that like 90% of all the fuel and everything is used up getting out of the atmosphere. Once you get out into space, if you can even get like a millisecond of burn out in space, like that sets you at like a couple hundred meters a second, you're gone basically because there's nothing to fucking stop you in space, except for physical objects and gravity. But gravity doesn't really stop you; it just makes you go in a weird wide ellipsis orbit. So.
Yeah. Anyways,
I'm not a big person of physics, but I like space a lot, so I know all that.
But Tesla hasn't revealed much about the car's trajectory. The data could allow astronomers to calculate where it might end up as it travels through the solar system, but for now it's not clear where the pool of various planets in the area will take it. But yeah, no, it's a big thing, because there's tons of gold in the asteroid belt, which is what the rich people were talking about. It's sending, mining robots to mine the various precious metals in these asteroids, because there's like massive chunks of minerals and elements.
I'd say the biggest deal is the super metals that come out of asteroids.
Yeah,
because then we can make super materials.
Yeah, but they're more talking about on the monetary front. Is it like think the size of like a skyscraper?
So again, I don't really care because gold is gold. We already know gold. We already have gold. I know, but I'm saying like any smart industrialist, probably Elon would be like, okay, so they can like their gold, but I'm gonna go mine for this super resource, and then I'm gonna build my next.
Well, that presumes that there's such a thing there. I mean, you'd have to send probes there to the asteroid belt.
The other problem they would have at that point is sending it there and then getting it back. The getting it back part's the problem.
Yeah. Well, ideally, you'd need like multi-stage rockets and.
I guess eventually, if we ever build a base on the moon, then everything else becomes feasible, or like a lot more stuff becomes feasible.
Yeah, or especially if you build one on Mars. Mm-hmm. But then you also got to imagine
to get to Mars, you have to have a base on the moon first. That's what I think they mostly project.
No, Elon just wants to go straight to Mars. So.
Well, if you build a big enough rocket and shove enough fuel into it, I've played Kerbal Space Program enough times to go, hey, look, I can go here.
Pretty much.
It's just you can't. Returning's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yes. Next.
Bermuda becomes first jurisdiction in the world to repeal same-sex marriage. What? Bermuda has become the first jurisdiction to legalize and then repeal same-sex marriage, in what critics have called an unprecedented rollback of civil rights by the British territory. It's British. Bermuda's governor has signed into law a bill reversing the right of gay couples to marry, despite a Supreme Court ruling last year authorizing same-sex marriage.
I don't think he can do that.
I don't know how.
If the Supreme Court said it was legal, he can't do that, I don't think. Because that sets... they're
British.
The ones...
I don't know.
Well, I know, but the Supreme Court is similar to ours, in which if it decides something is, then that is law.
Yep, I guess. I don't know. Bermuda's Senate and House of Assembly passed legislation by wide margins in December, and a majority of voters opposed same-sex marriage in a referendum. LGBT civil rights groups said domestic partnerships amounted to a second-class status, and it was unprecedented for a jurisdiction to take away the legal right to marriage.
It's literally unprecedented that the first to do it.
Yeah, after it had been granted. Mark Pettingill, that is a hilarious name, a Bermudan lawyer who won the May 2017 marriage equality case in the Supreme Court, had previously said he might challenge the government's decision through a constitutional action, as he should.
It definitely sounds like there's legal grounds to do so.
Hello, Damien999. Is that by any chance Prince? I feel like that's Prince.
Does the 999?
Yeah, because of the triple nines. And also he would change his name to Damien.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Anyway, so this is actually a pretty interesting thing coming out of the Danes. The Danish government proposes a ban on full-face veils.
I'm assuming that's the whole Muslim thing.
Mm-hmm. So the Danish government has proposed a ban on Islamic full-face coverings in public spaces. It is incompatible with the values in Danish society and disrespectful to the community to keep one's face hidden when meeting each other in public spaces, said the Justice Minister Soren Pape Olsen.
That's interesting.
He added that with a ban on covering faces, we're drawing a line in the sand and underlining that in Denmark we show each other trust and respect by meeting face to face.
That's pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
I mean, not only because it goes against the religion or culture and stuff, I believe, but it's kind of weird to see it fucking normally semi-progressive. Are the Danes?
Yeah, the Danes are fairly progressive.
Yeah, this seems like something that would come out of America, kind of thing. No.
Well, continuing on. The centre-right government is expected to present a bill to Parliament. And you also got to remember, in the context of this, when they say centre-right, it's in a European context of centre-right, which means still more liberal than our liberals in America.
Interesting.
Because that's really even the furthest right people in the UK and in a lot of places in Europe, they're a shit ton more progressive than our Democrats here. It is laughable, the comparison.
Well, supposedly, I've been reading on places that, and I've been hearing through the grapevine, through old people, the Republicans of the town and everything, that there's a party switch coming again soon. That the Republicans are going to switch over to Democrats, the Democrats are going to switch over to Republicans or whatever, like they did, years ago.
I have not heard that. I see no reason for that to happen.
I would hope there's no reason for that to happen, but I've heard it, and people around here were talking about.
Well, you also got to remember your sample size is people around here. What are people around here now?
I don't know. They know the same bullshit that any of the other rest of the Republican Party knows. They're all interconnected, sadly. Yeah, they're connected all the way up.
I feel I would have heard something.
I've heard it.
Because I haven't heard a thing of that.
Well, I heard it because newspaper, and
because
I know. Stories, and because people talking with people.
But I haven't heard that, and I don't see a reason why, because the two parties...
Why would you do that?
Because it would come up. I read a lot of political stories. Something like that would come up. But the two parties' philosophies are so different. There's very clear margins of different support. With the older people, it wouldn't surprise me if the older people were flexible and switched between the two parties, because the older people see in the candidates that come up, because a lot of the times the candidates that come up are people of their generation, so they support similar things. So I could understand from their perspective that they may think that, but from the younger generation's perspective, there's clear lines of division between a Republican and a Democrat that
but you also got to think the only people running aren't our people.
No, exactly. The people running aren't our people. The people running are their generation.
Yeah, but that's why they're going to swap over from being possibly Republicans to being Democrats instead.
Which isn't really...
Even though they're going to keep the same views, and I'm like, that's
not really accurate then.
Sense. I don't know. Like I said,
the Democrats,
like forever ago, the Democrats originally were, against, they were for slavery and all that other stuff.
Yes.
There was a whole flip-flop thing, but that's what they're saying might happen soon again, or something like that.
But that's the thing. There's nothing like that would happen, because the last time a big switch like that happened was when, I think it was Lyndon B. Johnson, or was it Nixon? I think it was Johnson. Whenever he was trying to court the South, and he's like, we're going to lose these Southern Democrats. Because he was a Democrat, and the Southern Democrats were very racist and pro-segregation and all that. And he's like, we're going to lose the Southern Democrats because I have to make this change. And, well, that's what happened. He lost the Southern Democrats. They became the Republicans, and they combined together. And the Democrats, well, that was a major switch, I believe, if I remember correctly. But I've not heard inklings of that anywhere. There's no real major points that the two parties... the two parties disagree on, abortion and gay marriage and civil liberties.
The two parties disagree on really, extreme things.
Yeah, a lot of things. But I haven't heard any rumblings of, a major switch going on, a major politician or political party where they're trying to gain people. People are what they are, So, like I said, I don't think anything like that's likely to happen. I think both people are just trying to become relevant.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Anyways, so back to the Danish. The centre-right government is expected to present a bill to Parliament in the spring with the support of the government's second largest party, the anti-immigration Danish People's Party. For fuck's sakes, how many P's are you going to put into that damn thing? The proposed legislation is likely to be adopted. A violation of the ban would entail a fine of 1,000 kroner, or $120. Repeated violations
120
pounds, which is like $170.
It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. Repeated violations could lead to fines up to 10,000 kroner. I don't know, what are your thoughts on this? Like, on the one hand, you know, we have people's civil liberties and their freedoms.
But freedoms aren't the same in other countries. But on the other hand, also, like, usually...
And religious freedom as well.
Usually when it comes to, like, crimes and things of that nature...
But this has nothing to do with crime.
Are you sure it doesn't have anything to do with crime?
Well, you also got to look. They're targeting face veils, so it's targeting Muslim women. Mm-hmm. It's clearly targeting people of the Islamic faith.
Yeah, I know.
Of that, there's no question.
But if you're matching the correlation between people of, you know...
no, but you also have to understand, like, in the areas where like crimes going on committed by immigrants who are majority Muslim, it's not women, you know, Muslims committing it. It's male Muslims committing the crimes. Of that, there is no doubt.
That's true.
So this isn't really going after an appropriate group if you're looking to punish somebody, you know?
I guess it might inadvertently punish them. And I know it will probably piss them off. It might actually make them leave the country, which may be their goal. Because they're not going to stay. If it's against their religion, they will leave.
I don't think not wearing a face veil is actually against Islam. I think it's just, like, suggested but not demanded.
Well, it's like a lot of things in Christianity. However, people tout them as things
people
you have
cherry
to do.
pick, etc., etc. Like the whole nobody talks about the dual fabrics.
And also, a lot of the men's side of the Muslim population forces the women to wear those things or do that.
Yeah.
So it's not a religion, but I think more of a culture thing.
Yeah, and also I'm sure the European culture, because like the European culture is actually quite, I don't know, like different. It changes per area, but they're very forward. Like they as a part of the culture, like you always shake hands. Like the teacher for like a school will shake hands with the pupils as a sign of relationship and understanding of. Like,
see, some places do that here. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, they do it here, but the culture isn't built for it.
The culture's not built for shit.
But there in these nations, that is built for it. It's a part of the daily ritual of your interactions that you shake hands and you look at them in the eye as a show of respect and a sign of understanding. And that's ingrained in the culture of these nations. Like, wearing a face veil is not, I guess.
Well, because you can't... Again, the biggest deal is you can't see somebody's face.
No,
which,
but
I was trying to tie it back to, I'm going to tie it back to the whole crime thing. Usually when crimes are committed, anywhere in the world, you know, most of the people that are committing crimes usually are either wearing hoodies or they're trying to
they're wearing hoodies, but this isn't talking about
yes,
hoodies.
I know,
this is
but
talking
it's the
about,
same ideal.
No. If they were putting out a law that says, okay, we're banning hoodies if you have them up, or we're banning, you know, like baklavas or something, that would be different. Then that'd be, okay, they're banning baklavas because people wear them when they commit crimes. It's stupid, but whatever. But they're specifically targeting is face veils.
Yes, I know, but I'm trying to tell you, it's the same ideology,
it's not.
It's the same understanding.
It's not.
That people
disagree.
Hiding their faces are...
But they're not targeting people who commit crimes. They're targeting Muslim women.
Saying, but I'm telling you the ideology...
Yeah, I understand, but this isn't what they're doing. If they were doing that, then
both,
it's not. It's not.
They're
banning Islamic full face coverings.
As they just said in this article, it's a trust issue. That's what they're pushing it as.
Yeah, that's what this guy's pushing it as because
exactly.
Yeah.
Then I'm going with what they are saying here. What they're saying, like exactly what they're right.
Yeah, but it's because it's a culture.
Not, but it doesn't matter.
Look, it doesn't really matter. I'm for freedom, goddammit. You're un-American. And I can say that, because fuck you.
I don't really care one way or the other, personally.
Look,
this is even my country, so I don't even give a shit.
I don't know. As an American, you know, we're a rather free nation, except for, of course, like the Patriot Act and fucking FISA Corps and a bunch of other things. But I would say relatively outside of those things, which are major freedom violations. We're a fairly free society. You know, we don't ban things like face veils or shit like this, because we have an understanding that, one, it's just a part of fucking freedom. You can wear goddamn clothes, whatever you like. And two, it's also religious freedom. It's a part of your religious clothing and shit. You can do what you like.
It's all a part of...
within reason, as long as it's not illegal. Obviously, if your religion tells you to commit illegal things, you can't do that, because that's against the law.
Kind of. It depends on what's illegal. There's some people who get away with things they shouldn't get away with because of religious freedom. I don't know.
Because they're not like Indians, they smoke like peyote or whatever and marijuana.
Yeah.
And that they've actually gotten around that because also A, they're Native Americans, B, then they get away with, and that gives them a lot of legal freedoms because we owe those people so much for all the horrible shit we've done to them.
Yep.
But also it's a religious thing, and you can get away with a lot if you're a religion.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, you could.
But that's what I'm saying. From my perspective of this,
doctors and stuff
this is wrong. I feel this is morally.
I never said it was right.
Well, you're defending it.
Me. I'm defending their ideals and I'm defending their ideology. And I'm just saying that's what. They're saying.
But you're saying based on what this guy's saying. How do you? I mean, you. This is but one person. We don't know if he's representing all of the Danish citizens. I mean, technically, he's the justice minister, so he's representing some portion.
He's representing a large portion of them because he's the justice minister. That's literally his job.
But does that mean he's representing, like, is he voted in? Is he elected? Does he represent a portion? Yeah, we don't really know. And I know, and it says that they have a center-right government. And
but again, I'm not defending their ability to do it or anything. I was just stating, like, the ideology and the facts behind exactly what he was saying. Is that, like as you said, it's a part of their culture. They're straightforward and whatever. And as he said, like, they just don't...
I know, it just sounded like you were defending it.
I'm defending, I guess, their right to say these things. And then, like, at the end, I don't really care what happens one way or the other because it's not my fucking country.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever the fuck they want out of our country. And then we do whatever the fuck we want here.
I wish people would disagree with the things we do and punish us for it.
Huh?
So I wish the international community at large would disagree with what we do and punish us for it.
Yeah, but my whole joke is essentially nobody can because we
are the world's sole superpower, as is canon.
We are the only existence. We are the realest of all the nations.
I really don't know how we're the world's sole superpower, but we are. That's literally the classification. For some reason. China is actually becoming a superpower, but they are not yet one, apparently.
I think it's because China doesn't really... I mean, they have a military, but they're not as militaristic as we are.
That's
Their military
true.
is still a drill.
We do outspend all other militaries
by a
ridiculous number.
Margin.
I mean, we outspend China like 6-1.
We've looked at this graph before.
I mean, we outspend the next 11 highest spending people.
Did it? Yes. Yeah. Fucking hundreds of billions.
So we spend 671 billion. 618 billion compared to China's 171 billion, Russia's 84.9 billion, Saudi Arabia 62 billion.
Oh, here's the Forbes graph picture.
There we go. Yeah. Saudi Arabia, India 55, France 55, UK 48, Japan 46, Germany 41, South Korea 36. We outspend them all. We account for nearly 40% of the world's military spending.
I was going to say, like, you add most of those up together, you still need an equal amount of spending.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We spend the most.
And then didn't we just agree to spend, like,
and we just agreed to spend 50 billion more. This is 2016 numbers, folks. That number's gone up to, like, freaking 670 billion.
Yeah.
So, we're out spending like a motherfucker. Yep. And what is it getting us? Nothing. Like, military is supposed to be for, like, defense of your nation kind of thing, you know? Like, if we're going to war or some shit, that's what a military is for. It's not to fight these fucking proxy wars and all these other fucking nations and put military bases.
Be the world police.
Yeah, we're not the fucking world police. That's why I want to advocate to cut the goddamn military budget.
The whole Team America World Police movie is like,
yeah,
pretty much ever prevalent almost everywhere.
I mean, just shit. If we cut that military budget in half, $300 billion. We could pay for college for everybody. We could pay for healthcare for probably a significant amount of people.
Actually, I think we could probably, for $300 billion, we could pay.
I mean,
I'm sure we could
put so much money into the education.
How much is? Let me see how much the UK's fucking insurance budget is.
Yeah, you're looking for the UK NHS budget.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we can.
So they spend. Wow.
Some government
they don't spend nothing. Wait, what? Click on that. Full spending. Oh, they spend 110. So yeah, we could pay for fucking public health care for all citizens with what they spend.
Yeah.
So we could spend that. So healthcare, college, education, fucking social security, and why the fuck not the post office? You know, we could fund all this shit, and we would still
by the way,
be
all these other things are already semi-funded.
And we would still be outspending the top fucking 6 nations combined in military spending. And you know what? We'd bring all those soldiers home from wherever the fuck they are in bumfuck nowhere. Wouldn't the American people like that if their fighting boys are back home in America?
Well, poll from here, probably no.
Really? You don't
the
think...
The mothers would, but the fathers would be like, nah.
I guess. I mean,
think of the generic Texan father.
I suppose, yeah. In that context, sure. But still.
Yes, the generic, like, well, I don't know. Some of the ma's are just like, yeah, you go get them, go kill those terrorizers.
You know,
we're
not fighting terrorists. We're not fighting wars.
Well, we are.
A small percentage, a very small percentage of the many active hundreds of thousands of soldiers that we have.
You know, we deploy troops in places, like shadow deploy troops. It comes up every now and again.
But you get what I'm saying, you know?
No, I know.
Fucking cut the budget, bring them home, fund all this shit so we can actually be a first world nation. Also, fund infrastructure. Because most of our infrastructure gets a grade of D and our bridges are fucking collapsing like fucking flies. And people are dying.
Supposedly the I-10 bridge between here and Louisiana is bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, but this just enrages me that we waste so much money.
Oh no, it's not. I'm not good to me. But anytime you talk about cutting the fucking military spending, everyone's like, "Oh, you're against our troops. Oh, you're against our people."
You know, is it against the troops to want them to be home? Is it?
Well, no. It's like
we're not world police.
It's like we talked about though. We could cut the spending, and we could still end up paying all of the army people better pay anyway.
Yeah. You know, and just imagine the amount of workers you'd get in the workforce. You know
what? I think it'd be good if we just kill all those R&D projects. You know, all the billions.
Yes, the trillions of dollars we're wasting on the new fucking jet, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and it's multiple role. It's like separate, I guess, sub chassis things that are all awful. I think every single one of the designs is fucking atrocious compared
to... There's like, 7 different designs?
Yes. There's F-35, like A through, I want to say F.
Yeah.
But they're all awful.
I mean, and we've wasted trillions of dollars. I mean, hell, there was a time when that fucking thing couldn't even get off the goddamn ground.
No, it should. I don't think it flew until like the last couple of years recently.
Yeah. So we're wasting trillions of dollars on shit that we don't need.
It's also a terrible job.
We're wasting billions on tanks we don't need.
Too.
We're wasting just everything on everything we don't need. You know, but the defense contractors got to make their money, and they bought the politician, and they pay for the contracts, and they bought the president, and everybody else in the goddamn Congress.
You know, I still want to... If my life entirely falls apart and I can get money to start a PMC and just go fight overseas, I'm down.
You know, this just shit pisses me off.
Yeah.
On other news... Now to U.S. news, which we're talking about so conveniently.
Yes, as I changed topic.
Here's some good news, but bad news for the stock market, for reasons I'll explain.
Alright, on to U.S. news. So, U.S. jobless claims dropped to near 45-year low. Which, by the way, I'm going to preface this with, this isn't Trump's doing. This is stuff that basically was happening because Obama did at the end of his year, at the end of his term.
I mean, it had been progressively happening.
So, before all those people hop on that Trump train and be like, oh, yeah, he did this, and he's just barely got into office, kiddos. He hasn't really passed anything useful that would have actually brought jobs up in the last year. So
not really.
Except for killing TPP. But anyway, the number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits unexpectedly fell last week. Probably because I was one of those people, and my claim is over.
It also, unemployment benefits, yeah, but they also count the unemployment rate by, people actively looking for jobs. So if you stop actively looking, they stop counting you.
I'm like halfway actively looking. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
I mean, I have stuff lined up, maybe, hopefully, I hope, to its lowest level in nearly 45 years as the labor market tightened further, bolstering expectations of faster wage growth this year.
Yes, for those who don't know, if you can't miss, it'd be pretty damn difficult, but the stock market's fucking crashing across the board. And it continues to crash to my utter dismay.
To my happiness.
Fuck your happiness.
I can't put my money in anything yet, damn it.
Good.
The second straight weekly decline in claims reported by the Labor Department on Thursday also pointed to strong job growth momentum, which could further drive the unemployment rate lower.
The problem with that, let me just do a little aside. So the saying is that wage growth is growing faster because more people are getting employed. So there's less jobs available, so you have to pay people more to get them in the positions that they want. Essentially. The problem with that is that, companies have to start paying people more, which means their profits go down.
See,
it's going to happen.
As somebody in the job market for the past 6 months, I have not seen an increase in wages. I have not seen an increase. I've seen a lot of jobs. There's tons of job openings. I personally haven't been hired for any of them, and I'm overqualified for, I want to say, half of them.
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's so many job openings because there are not enough people to fill the spots.
Yeah, but they're still not paying anything.
Yeah, it's not an instant thing, man. These things will take time. Wages
am going to ask
will
for more
increase.
money after I get
exactly. And that's the thing. You can do it now because you're like, look, we know there ain't nobody out there for these damn jobs, and you're desperate to get people, so pay me more money.
Apparently, what the guy was saying, he couldn't find somebody with balls, and I'm like, oh boy,
what?
I've got you there. Explanations later.
Okay, I gotta know.
Tell me to elaborate on that because I'll explain that later. But it was like something you brought up in the interview, and it was like interesting. Didn't say his balls outright, but basically what it comes to. Anyway, initial claims for state unemployment benefits decreased 9,000 to a seasonally adjusted 221,000 for the week ended February 3rd. The Labor Department said claims fell to 216,000 in mid-January, which is the lowest level since January 1973. Economists polled by Reuters had forecasted claims rising to 232,000, and last week marked the 153rd straight week that claims remained below 300,000 threshold, which is associated with a strong labor market. See, the state of our union is strong. See, but however, I want to say this with, for instance, Texas. I'm pretty sure most states are like this too. Your unemployment doesn't even last for the whole year.
No, unemployment only lasts 6 months unless something major happened in the economy, in which case they do issue extensions. Yeah. I know Obama issued 2 or 3 extensions because after the 2008 crash. Mm-hmm. So, that had to happen.
Yeah. But, and the other thing is most people, I think they stopped their unemployment claims closer to January and before that because either they run out of money, they used it all, but also because of tax season. It's another thing you got to think about. When you pull the money, most of the people's last year's benefits drop off towards the beginning of this year. Because, nobody really gets hired or fired, I think, in the beginning months of any year. Mm-hmm. Really, nobody gets hired or fired in, November, December, or January, February. That's usually not when people get hired or fired in anywhere they go.
Are you kidding me? Some people get fired. And I'm like, sir, it's Christmas.
Yeah. No, well, unless you're working at, a shitty place like Walmart or something. If you're working retail or something like that.
Which,
You're
as you know,
working
folks,
seasonal
from last week, retail's dying.
That's good. Amazon will take over.
Yeah. Yeah. Tragic. Cashiers are being killed. Truck drivers are being killed off.
I don't know about you can't have truck drivers being removed until they make fully automatic driving trucks.
Well, what they're doing now is to actually speed up the process. Is they're building trucks that can drive themselves on freeways. So they can do like basic like lane changes and speed up, slow down, follow the speed limits, etc. But what they can't do is take exits and drive in small cities. Mm-hmm. So what the plan is to have them just do long haul, and then just have somebody just sit in the cab and if when they get to their exit or they need to drive into town, then you have the truck driver do that. So you can pay somebody a lot less because they're not even doing much of the driving, and their need is so much more reduced. Mm. So that's going to kill a large amount of the long haul truck driving industry, which is how America gets most of its products.
I was going to say America runs on trucks.
Yeah, so they're dying, and then that's just the start. Because once they get that going and start getting that rolled out, they're going to be rolling out automated within years after that, and then there's going to be no truck drivers. Hell, it'll probably cost companies more to have truck drivers because of the insurance claims. So yeah. Anyways. So this is interesting. A New Jersey drug dealer caught with 83 bricks of heroin gets 6 months of rehab and no prison.
Interesting.
An admitted drug dealer who was caught with 4,150 doses of heroin worth $25,000. Really? It's only worth $25,000? I guess that's why... Is heroin a cheap drug?
I believe so.
I guess so, yes. For like $5 an injection, $5 a dose.
Well, a dose doesn't even have much. It's only a couple mils.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't know.
You make heroin by cooking crack cocaine, I think?
No, heroin's a specific different drug. Yeah. Because heroin's an opiate, which comes from the poppies.
I'm thinking about crack cocaine that you inject. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess you can inject and smoke crack.
There's, yeah.
Well, crack cocaine and cocaine, two different things. Anyways, Gary Fox, 30, of Toms River, who has a criminal record that includes previous drug convictions, avoided prison by being accepted by the drug court and pleading guilty to 2 counts of third-degree possession with intent to distribute and a count of possession. The drug courts, part of Governor Chris Christie's reform efforts in the wake of a massive heroin addiction epidemic gripping the state, are meant to provide drug users with rehabilitation instead of placing them behind bars. Which, Chris Christie, you may have been a terrible governor. You may have traded 9/11 pieces of the 9/11 World Trade Center for political favors, and you're still a horrible fat fuck. But this is one of the few things I can point to and say, good job. But you're still horrible. Also, go on a diet. Drug courts, however, are not for violent or hardened criminals. The court found Fox eligible for the program, and he began rehab in November and remaining in custody until his guilty plea in January, prosecutors said. Court records show he spent 168 days in county jail. Now, this is interesting. The fact that they have a drug court that's committing people to rehab instead of jail. That's one of the things that I've talked about here, is that, we're a nation who supposedly our justice system is supposed to be for rehabilitation, and that we don't actually do that. This is actually a case where we're actually doing that. So, yeah, you're reading that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this, and I'm going to enjoy every second.
Yeah. But, so this is good. This is good. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel kind of conflicted because...
I feel convicted. All
right,
convicted. We're taking you to jail, buddy.
I show conviction. No, I'm kind of conflicted about this because he was a drug dealer, so he was part of the problem. Who had bricks of freaking heroin.
It's not bricks. Is it bricks? I think
it's bricks. Because heroin's a powder
I'm pretty sure you fucking...
that you mix or cut and then...
I'm pretty sure it's like crack cocaine. You literally boil it down into a liquid.
Yeah. So it breaks. It's still powder.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. So, and he was intent to sell it, so he's contributing to the problem of the massive heroin epidemic. And then he gets 6 months rehab.
I mean, see, I'm a terrible person. I don't care if everyone just dies of drugs, personally.
I don't know. I mean, I think... I mean...
you could be conflicted there, but, like, part of the drug problem is you're doing drugs. And
well,
it's
part
hard
of the
to
drug
stop
problem
things,
is
also,
the prescription drug epidemic. Which
That's
Alabama...
different.
Well, no, because that's how this gets started. Because
In theory,
heroin is an opioid,
Yes.
so people get stuck on, like, OxyContin, and
Yes.
then, their prescription runs out, but they're still in pain or they've gotten used to the dosage level. So then what do they turn to? They turn to heroin.
Well, what's worse
because that's
about
all you
that
have.
Is it like they think they still have pain, sometimes they don't.
Well, no, it's the body's addiction to the OxyContin because it hits certain receptors
Also,
in the
people
brain.
just take OxyContin recreationally. Shit, people do that all the time around here.
I took one accident. Well, I took one intentionally, kind of accidentally.
Yeah.
It was one.
I bet it made you feel good.
I wasn't feeling no pain. I got
Okay.
drunk. Not like super drunk, but I was drinking. I didn't
You
feel
probably
nothing.
should. Yeah, okay. So especially don't drink and take things like that.
Well, I did.
Yeah, I won't even mix alcohol and shit like that because I know better. It'll like make me die. It'll make me pass out.
It was only like one drink. Of course, the drink was like half vodka. It was like vodka, orange juice, and some beer.
Thank you, LM2MLG.
I don't know. I think this guy
Figure out what that
should have been given longer rehab, maybe. Because 6 months doesn't seem like enough. But that's the thing. That's why heroin's
Well,
becoming
it's
such a
pulling
big
him
thing.
out of the drugs. Like, if you can get somebody away from the drugs, probably for a year, I'd say something that's that hard and that addictive.
Mm-hmm. And he was selling it, so it's a slightly different story.
Also,
But that's the thing. There's the problem with the heroin epidemic is the prescription drug epidemic. Then the fact that these drug companies for years were pushing these drugs on doctors by buying them off, and then they push the drugs on
Which
the
they
patients.
all do still. By
Which
the
they
way.
still do.
Drug companies. The plot twist, in case people don't know, America is run by mostly evil, greedy fucks.
I mean, that's why we allow drug commercials on TV. Like, we're one of the only nations in the world that actually, or one of the few nations, modern nations in the world, that allows drug companies to advertise their prescription pills on TV. No other, modern nation does that because they understand that their citizens...
They might.
No. They understand that their citizens are stupid and that they shouldn't be getting their health advice from a commercial where there's clearly financial intent. So they tell people, no, you cannot do that.
However,
Because it influences kids, it influences adults. Because, think of a drug that you've seen. Think of, there's always those depression drugs you see on TV. Like, oh, you're feeling down, you're feeling blue, whatever.
Cause suicide?
Yeah.
And also many other, issues.
It's like you may have a heart
well-known.
attack, liver failure, cancer, kidney failure, etc., etc., etc. But you see them on commercial, and they're like, oh, I'm feeling kind of down. I should go to my doctor. And it's like, hey, doc, I want this pill. And the doc's like, I don't give a shit. Sure, here you go.
Well, and part of the problem is the doctors, like you say, they just don't really care.
Yeah. If you
They're
have a
not
good
true
doctor that
doctors.
cares, that's good.
Yeah, and then I go to a doctor that cares too much, and like, you should stop drinking sodas. I'm like, that's not happening.
You should stop drinking
and
sodas.
then they're like, hey, you're gonna die.
I don't need a degree to tell you that.
I don't need a degree to know that, but it still doesn't stop me from looking straight in their face and going, I don't care. And they're like, all right, so you're semi-suicide. I'm like, no, I just want to do whatever the fuck I want, and I don't really care about the adverse reactions in my body.
So take this pill here, and it'll probably extend your life.
No, she wasn't even like that. Part of the problem, it stemmed from a fucking miscommunication. It stemmed from some stupid thing that old people do. Like, so, what, how many sodas can you consume in a day? I'm like, well, I have been able to finish a 12-pack, within a day. And they're like, okay, so you drink a 12-pack every day. And I was like, no. And then there's the whole time, it's the kid who drinks 12-packs every day. I'm like, guys, seriously, stop. And then they're like, so do you like to drink alcohol? And I'm like, no, not that much. Maybe sometimes. once in a year. All right, so you like to drink alcohol. You're an alcoholic. I was like, no. And, like, she drink, because the nurse lady is like, so like, a glass of wine every day or a glass of wine every now and again. And I was like, yeah, sure. She's like, okay.
Every day.
You drink alcohol every day. And I was like, God damn it.
I do social drinking, like when there's something going on.
And they're like, okay, alcoholism. Basically.
No, I don't know. My doctor's pretty good on this.
Hello, Skippy Stock. And I saw that you said to call you Link earlier. I didn't talk.
Yeah, sorry for that.
We're doing our thing. But yeah, no.
Anyways, take it away.
A white supremacist may be the only Republican running for a seat in Congress. Arthur Jones is a racist, denies the Holocaust happened, and will likely be the only Republican on the ballot for a Chicago area congressional seat in November. Sounds like my favorite person. I'm going to go vote for him even though...
You're going to become a citizen of Illinois and Chicago and vote for that guy.
Yep. The state GOP has denounced Jones and his candidacy, but says it has no way to stop him. We've tried to do everything we possibly could to prevent this person from getting on the ballot. I feel like that's not okay. I feel like they can't do that.
They can. I mean,
anyway.
It's part of the party to control who becomes
so it's just the party. I thought it was the person who's currently a part of the state.
No, he's the head of the party.
Illinois GOP Chairman Tim Schneider said the Lions... The Lions 2? I don't know, whatever.
The third.
The Lions insurance agent is a former leader of the American Nazi Party. He features pictures of himself addressing a recent Aryan's Nation World Congress on his campaign website.
Like, I'm a Nazi and I don't give a shit.
And
Fuck the blacks.
Says that race mixing is against the laws of nature and God. He has tried to run for Congress there at least 5 times previously, stretching back to 1998. Smith says that even in Democratic strongholds, getting a viable Republican name on the ballot is an investment worth making. Not just when it prevents a self-proclaimed Nazi from stealing a party's not. I mean, it's kind of like how the Republicans felt about Trump, but then they just
They still don't like Trump. Talking about. Well, I mean, the base likes him, but the people in leadership don't.
Yeah, and then what else is there? It's like this. Shit, I don't know. I was gonna say something, but I forgot already. But yeah, no. Definitely Nazi.
So
we can't stop it.
So Republicans in Illinois. Just look at how this makes you look.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Apparently there's a convicted murderer trying to run for Congress in Austin. That's all that story.
He's not going to win.
I guess not. I don't know.
Like, this guy's not going to win because the district he's trying to run in is heavily Democrat. So there's really no chance for him to win. But it's still just.
But what if it happens? But what if they redraw the lines?
Yeah, well, they're not for Illinois. But it looks really bad because to get on the ballot, there had to be enough signatures to get there. So that means there had to be enough people to put their name on a ballot to make a fucking Nazi, be able to run.
This is Illinois. I'd expect this out of Arkansas or something.
Yeah, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi for sure. West Virginia. But this is Illinois.
Yeah.
Anyways. So this is actually good news for the folks of Tennessee, as I mentioned. Court ruling calls Tennessee's DUI conviction fee system unconstitutional. So the Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals handed a local attorney a landmark victory Tuesday, and in the process froze hundreds of DUI cases in Chattanooga as state authorities scramble to decode the order. Tuesday's ruling stems from a local challenge by attorney Jerry Summers. They have a Jerry. But this is one of the competent Jerrys. Who said his client Rosemary DeCosimo? That sounds right.
Sure.
Something. Shouldn't have been convicted of a DUI. Shouldn't have been convicted of a DUI in March of 2017 when the state's top law enforcement agency was running a multi-million-dollar fee system for more than a decade that encouraged positive results in blood alcohol tests. When people are successfully prosecuted for DUIs, the defendants have to pay a $250 fee directly to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to cover the costs of blood alcohol or drug concentration test fees, which is bullshit.
You shouldn't have to pay unless...
You shouldn't have to... No, you shouldn't have to pay just regardless. It's up to the state to fucking run that shit on their dime to prosecute you.
It's kind of like how I don't agree with in Texas, if you get a fucking ticket, you have to pay for your fucking state papers for, like, your driving record. You have to buy your driving record from the state and send it to
Which makes
court.
no sense.
And I'm like, but you're a court.
They already
you're
have
a state.
that shit.
Exactly, you already have it. It's a part of your system. It might be a part of your 1970s MS-DOS system, and fucking Cheryl doesn't want to go get it because they're all getting paid to do nothing but sit on their ass.
Trust me, I'm a government employee. I know that intimately.
Exactly. That's why he's using those specific things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, why? Why do I have to pay out of pocket? And then you have to pay on top of that. And then if you do like anything, you have to pay a fee anyway, even if you don't go to court. Then you have to pay some sort of fee. You have to pay, like, for defensive driving. You have to pay the court for money for some reason, and then you have to pay the defensive driving people.
Yeah,
And
it's so much bullshit. Because, like, your ticket costs, you got a ticket, it's $100. And then by the time you're done with it, it's $400.
Yep.
Because of all the fucking people that gotta get paid and all the administrative and bureaucratic bullshit. Fucking streamline that shit, bitch.
I had one time where, like, defensive driving came out to be more expensive than fucking the ticket somewhere.
God
and I
damn.
was like,
where the fuck were you? When I had to pay for defensive driving, it was like $20.
well, it's because there was an extra fee associated with defensive driving. There was like $100 fee either way I did it, and I was like,
where the fuck did you go?
that one was probably Eagle Lake.
I did it online, and
That's
it
why
was
I
like
never speed through
a
Eagle
horrible multi-hour thing that I just ignored.
Lake. Well, it's always defensive driving. They're always multi-hour like videos you have to sit.
Which is ridiculous. What's the point? Like,
I mean, I learned actually things. I learned stuff from defensive driving that I didn't actually learn in driver's ed, which is nice.
I didn't take driver's ed. I learned at home.
Well, you might stand to learn a bunch of shit.
Probably.
Because home courses are a fucking joke. It was always just people's parents signing off on hours.
That's what my dad did. It's just like okay, like literally, we drove around.
He's like, all right,
we drove around a parking lot like once, and then he just had me drive from like the high school to my job, like every day. I did that, and he's like, okay, good enough. We did some hours. Go take your test, and that's what I did. Of course, I don't think the instructor liked me too much.
Did you have a test?
Yeah.
You took like an actual driver test with like a cop sitting in with you?
No, like a DMV employee.
Like, yeah, because the DMV employee was sitting in with you when you drove around. Oh.
It didn't look like she didn't like me, because she had because she walked in from another person who was getting like a kid getting their like permit, and she was all smiles and shit and happy woo. And then she rides with me, and she's got fucking stone ass face, like she ain't having shit. And I'm like, the fuck, bitch, you don't know me.
See, I still need to take my test.
Maybe she was racist, because that kid was a clearly white kid, and I'm a Hispanic person.
Because like the ladies that are working there, I think are the same ladies that have been working there any time I've ever been with DMZ.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I didn't know. Yeah, I still need to take my test because my license is technically a permit. Except there's a part of me that just doesn't give a fuck. Apparently, I have to take I have to take an adult driver's ed course now because my original driver's ed course wore off after 2 years after not taking the test. And so, like, if I just wait another year, I'm exempt from taking a driver's ed course and spending money again. And then I can just go take the test anyway.
So, is your license good enough to cover that period?
No.
So you're just gonna drive with an illegal license?
I've been doing it for the last 5 years.
Your license is expired?
No, my license is not a real license.
Right, it's a permit.
It's like a permit. It says Texas driver's license on it all over the fucking thing, but I have a restriction on the back that says I have to have a license operating the front seat 21 or over. And like anytime that somebody's going to pull me over, I'm going to be a smartass. I am a licensed operator. It says Texas driver's license. I'm over 21.
I don't know, man. That cop.
Which one?
The cop that pulled you over and made you wait for your mom.
That's the first time it's ever happened. Like beforehand, nobody's ever noticed the restriction, but because that was a DPS officer, it was a highway patrolman, and I knew that if I got stopped by a highway patrolman, because I've always heard about how anal they are, he'd look at my license and immediately, like he looked at my license, saw that, and just dropped it and was like, "All right, you're gonna wait for your mom." Like, he didn't read anything else on my license, didn't do anything, and I was like, "Listen, sir, I've been driving for the last 5 fucking years." I was like, realistically, fuck you. Well, like, he didn't give me did he give me a ticket for speeding? Yeah, I got a ticket for speeding, but he didn't give me a ticket for, like, driving with my license. So, like, they still didn't even really care enough. He just made me sit and wait for Mom. And then I just continued on driving. Like, we switched out vehicles, dropped my car off somewhere, and I continued driving to my destination. It doesn't stop me. I mean, I drove your car from here to Dallas and whatever.
I'm a licensed over 21 driver, so that's legal.
Welcome back to me.
Yes.
Yeah, but most of the time I drive illegally, technically, and, like...
Yeah.
Never had a problem.
But yeah, no, this is good news for the people of
speed everywhere.
Tennessee. So apparently the TBI made $22 million off of the thousands of DUI cases since the legislature allowed them to collect fees in 2015 from 2005 on. But the state only collects when it wins, Summer said, making the fee system biased, unconstitutional, and a violation of the defendant's right to fair trial, which it is, because it encourages the prosecutor to get a... Because it encourages the prosecutors to push for a win, and it encourages the agency who's running the tests and these things to falsify records to make money. And the thing is, like, it didn't go to like a general fund; it went directly to that agency, which encouraged it even further. Anyways,
which is bad juju. It's all bad juju. Everything's bad juju. Juju's bad juju. Anyway, in other news, Rob Gronkowski. My whole house got robbed while at Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So apparently,
seems to happen quite a lot to these football players.
Was it actually a football player?
Yeah, he's a football player. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you know more than I do at this point, because I sure as fuck didn't know that. Huh. Apparently there's no alerts thing. Police are investigating burglary at New England Patriots star Rob Gronkowski's house in Foxborough. Sources tell CBS Boston that 3 guns were taken and a window was broken. That seems rather, I don't know, not that much. This is Rob Gronkowski calling, and while I was gone, my whole house got robbed. While on the Super Bowl trip. And I just got back, he said on the 911 call released by Foxborough Police. Sources say Gronkowski does not have a license to carry a firearm, but his assistant friend and roommate Robert Goon does have a state-issued license. That license was issued in October 2017. Do you have to have a license? I'm guessing this is handguns, maybe?
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. I mean, Texas, you can...
I mean, isn't it interesting that New England Patriots star has roommates?
Yeah, well, it's his assistant and somebody else, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always cheaper to live together with people. That's probably one of the first stories of the dude, bro. Somebody ever living with people. Mm-hmm. Normally they just live alone or whatever. Meh. I don't know, be like Snoop Dogg. Have your blunt roller live in your house and pay him, $50,000 a year or whatever, and just hang out and smoke weed with you.
That man must make great blunts.
I guess so.
I mean, if I'm paying somebody $50,000 a year just to roll blunts, they better be fucking amazing at that
well,
shit.
Also fucking, I'm assuming you roll forever your fucking fingers, like when you get as old. Snoop's kind of old. Like, arthritis must be a bitch, because it's just 2 fingers. And, repeatedly doing this all day does not bode well for your joints.
I suppose so, yeah.
But anyway, that and again, he's rich as fuck, and who doesn't want to be Snoop's blunt roller, even if it didn't even make any real money? It pays him a living wage, and he gets to smoke weed with Snoop Dogg, who probably also helps him out all the other time with other shit. Snoop's cool as shit. Supposedly somebody said Snoop was here in Bay City or something recently. Yeah. He was offering he was selling Snapchat, fucking selfies for $5 a pop or something. I had overheard it through some people. Anyway, police say Gronk locked his bedroom before he left town, and it was still locked when he got home. Police say the door to Goon's room in the house was broken down. A second roommate says his room was unlocked, and thieves took his property as well. Baker confirmed the break-in happened while Gronkowski was away at the Super Bowl, but the chief did not say what day or time it occurred. State Police crime scene unit spent several hours at the home looking for fingerprints, shoe prints, and tire tracks, anything that could lead investigators to who may have broken into Gronk's home while he was away. I love how State Police hopped into this.
Probably because
Probably because
he's an important person.
Yes, exactly. That's the joke I'm making. Is like these people make millions off contracts, and then basically I'm not even sure if any of his stuff was actually stolen. It makes it sound like only stuff that was in his house that wasn't in his room got stolen.
Yeah.
And from the words, supposedly the only thing they stole was 3 guns. So,
and various other things. They didn't list. Part of what it is, they sold quite a lot, but they didn't list what it was because they said, look, the people who stole the shit know what they took, so there's no need to list it.
Yeah, but if you list stuff like that, it helps catch people because when they go to sell it, they're gonna be like, bruh. Because nobody in the state's gonna accept the shit that was stolen by the New England Patriots guy. Unless some dude's running a pawn shop that hates the Patriots. Like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll take it. Fuck the Patriots. Fuck Gronkowski. That's about it.
Yeah.
Realistically, you put out a list. He can choose to do that himself on his Facebook. And anybody that comes across it should be like, nah, I'm calling the police. Get the fuck out of here.
I suppose so.
I know.
Anyways. So, moving on to another story out of Tennessee.
Ooh, this is spicy. I like this kind of shit. Sounds like kind of
so,
shit.
Tennessee sheriff tapes saying, I love this shit after ordering suspects killing.
You know what that sounds like? Tennessee's.
Yeah. The Tennessee sheriff is being sued for using excessive force after he was recorded boasting he had told officers to shoot a man rather than risk damaging police cars by ramming him off the road. They said, we're ramming him, Sheriff Audie Shoup of White County said on tape in the aftermath of the killing of suspect Michael Dial. I said, don't ram him, shoot him. Fuck that shit, ain't gonna tear up my cars. Shoup arrived on the scene shortly after the police had shot Dial at the conclusion of a low-speed chase, clearly upset he had missed the excitement. I love this shit, Shoupe said. That's his real name, folks. It's spelled S-H-O-U-P-E. His name's Shoupe, or Shoupe. Apparently unaware that his comments were being recorded by another deputy's body cam.
Body cams!
Yep. God, I tell you what, I thrive on it.
What? Did he just fucking go, thank you? I tell you what.
I tell you what. If they don't think I'll give the damn order to kill that motherfucker, they're full of shit, he added, laughing. Take him out. I'm here on the damn wrong end of the county, he said. It's not, and then here's another different quote. But it said from a lawyer, it said, it's not only inappropriate but also unconscionable that defendant Shoup, or Chopé, or whatever the fuck his name is, would give the order to use deadly force, the following states, calling his decision proof of malicious and sadistic mindset. The suit also names the county, the city of Sparta, and the 2 officers who fired the weapons in it. The police initially attempted to pull over Dial over in April last year for driving on a suspended license. He drove away, but the fact that he was driving a 40-odd-year-old pickup truck with a fully loaded trailer severely restricted his speed. But Shoup radioed the officers telling him to stop attempting to use a pit maneuver. The deputies tried using a pit maneuver to slow Dial's car, a common police tactic that involves a police car nudging another vehicle or turning it sideways. But Shoup radioed the officers to tell them to stop attempting to do that, instead ordering them to shoot the driver. When the deputy successfully nudged Dial off the road, Reserve Deputy Adam West, who was in pursuit in his own personal vehicle, fired 3 shots at the vehicle as it went down into the ditch. Dial died of a gunshot wound to the head. Oof. You missed the whole story, man.
I didn't miss anything. Sounds fucking spicy and beautiful.
That's ridiculous.
Fucking love it.
I mean, this guy sounds like somebody you don't want running your damn sheriffs.
He sounds like somebody I admire and somebody I aspire to be. There we go. It's just, I'll fucking kill him. I mean, I gotta do what I want and get away with.
Okay, dinner thieves, cops.
Huh? Okay, pretty much. She's bad skill. You should do it for the good guys.
They're the good guys, they're the bad guys, and they're the good bad guys.
Speaking of which, on to police brutality and other police things. Baltimore, as usual, always having police issues.
Yep.
Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pugh, I'm guessing.
I'm gonna go Pug.
Is it Pug?
I don't know.
I don't know, I was trying to go with Hugh because of the UGH. I don't know. It says she has not had time to closely follow police corruption trial. What?
Alright, the mayor of the city.
Mayor Catherine Pugh says she has not had time to closely follow testimony in the trial of 2 police officers that have raised questions about how widespread corruption has spread through the police department. Well, I don't know why questions are just being raised, seeing as we've seen tons of stories come out of this place. Anyway, asked in a news conference Wednesday she'd been following the trial, Pugh first said, "No, I have not. I have to run the city. I don't have time to sit in a trial," she said.
Well, that's a stupid answer. Nobody's asking if you sat in the fucking trial. They're just asking if you kept up with the damn trial.
Asked if she's read about the case, which has been covered extensively in the Baltimore Sun, on television and by some national media, or been briefed on it, Pugh said she hadn't. But Pugh said she had heard some of the testimony and was surprised by it. We do hear some of the testimony that's taking place, and I think anybody would be surprised with some of the accusations that were made, which is saying she's basically defending them, kind of, with that stance.
I don't know.
Because she said, anybody would be surprised by the accusations. You only say accusations, like, whenever you basically don't believe them. Or you're saying it as the official term for,
She has to, keep it legally clear because, it's her prosecutors and shit that are...
Yeah. At the trial, which is scheduled to conclude Wednesday, officers pleaded guilty.
We're going to have an exciting next Thursday.
And are cooperating with the FBI, have unspooled tales of theft and intimidation by the corrupt gun task force, and named other officers
Sounds like the dinner thieves cops
involved in wrongdoing. As for comment in Annapolis, a spokeswoman for Governor Larry Logan said, "The governor has been following the case closely." Or at least the governor is doing
so. The governor, who has a state to run...
I know, right?
But no, the mayor has a city to run.
Well, part of the thing is with the mayor is I'm sure she's partially to blame and partially at fault for
No, absolutely, because it's her police commissioner... Because, and everybody... Because she gives those orders and they follow them out. And, yeah, sure, corruption is kept under wraps, but there's people aren't as good as hiding things as I think they are. And if she'd went hard and gotten her DA and the police commissioner together and did a big anti-corruption thing, I'm sure they would have found this shit out a lot sooner than they did.
Yep.
This really only came to light because of a cop having a body cam on while he was planting drugs. And we covered that story. We were one of the first.
Nobody knows about us. We were the first.
I know. We cover so much news, folks, that the national media doesn't cover. All the fucking national media is concerned about is Russia and Trump and bullshit like that. No, we cover the real shit going on in the world.
We still cover Trump because, Trump's doing something.
Yeah, but he's not the main thing of our broadcast.
No. We always cover North Korea and Trump because there's always something North Korea and Trump. Always.
We cover the tragedies going on, like the Rohingya tragedies, or this Baltimore.
The Rohingya tragedies that I don't think have been covered at all.
No, none of the national media is covering it.
That's one of those things where I like to say that that's why I don't believe in the media at large, because things go on in the world that either I'm not sure if we have interest there, but most of the time we have interest in a place, we don't hear about
interest. These are international news organizations. They should cover the shit out of standard procedure. Something, the genocide, the ethnic cleansing, the freaking, the genocide. Those are all terms that have been widely used by our government, by the UN, by, governments in the region of fucking Burma. This isn't some tiny thing going on. This is a destruction of a people and a way of life. Mm-hmm. By systematic murder. And nobody's covering it.
Complete with mass graves and all.
Yes. mass graves and firing squads.
Mm-hmm.
And hell, I was just reading a story today about the mass graves we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying how they had the fucking poor bastards dig their own shallow grave and then just shot them all and buried them alive for the ones who were still living.
It's efficient. It's not the first time in history that's happened. It's
No,
not efficient.
of course it's not the first time that's happened.
I believe
it's
that's
just-
exactly what Stalin did, if I think about it.
Stalin, I'm sure the Nazis, etc. It's a standard
Well,
procedure, probably.
Nazis, not so much. They literally just threw people in the piles and shit.
That's true.
No, Stalin had his had the village people dig their own graves, I believe.
But it's just like that level of brutality going on in this modern age.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we just said America's not the world police, but the fucking UN needs to step in, get their peacekeepers down on the ground.
Well, that's the other part of the problem. It's as sad as I am to say this, America's a better peacekeeping force than the UN. But we just do it our way, which is wrong.
Like, the UN does do a lot of peacekeeping around the world, as we've talked about in the past.
Yeah, but when we go keep the peace in places that we have interest in, like to keep shit from blowing out of proportion.
Well, we
keep
usually
the peace.
kill the leadership and then just put a puppet in charge, who then we lose control over in less than a year.
Yep.
So, I'll take the UN, because at least they're slightly more effective than we are.
The UN's like this. Stop it! Stop it! Stop being mean to each other. That's what I imagine the UN does. And it's true.
I mean, they go in there with weapons and shit. I mean, they just need to go. They need to move faster.
That's the problem. Is they're like bureaucratic.
I'm good.
Bullshit.
Thank you, then. Yep. Alright, have a good one.
On what? I'm not touching any of it. I don't eat that shit. I'll think about it. I might forget about it when it sits out on the counter. But it'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. Anyways. So, moving on to local news.
Yep. Which, because of my personal feelings, I'm just going to keep it as U.S. news forever.
We could be covering local news in freaking Botswana.
No. It's still not local.
Fine.
It's still local U.S. news, though.
It's local to the people, which is why we call it local news.
I just don't...
Because it's not a national story. It's like it's a small-time story in a small area.
Oh, hey, I'm going to be going here.
Yes,
Aha.
yes you are.
South Texas judge accepted bribes in cases he oversaw. There's hope for me, Kenneth. A state district judge in South Texas accepted bribes for several years. Wait, no. This is your story. I just covered the last one.
Okay.
What the fuck? Never miss a reminder again. Oh, it's trying to tell me to leave my phone. No.
Don't do it!
I was going to say, let's not do that.
Don't get the AIDS.
Don't get the AIDS.
Anyways, so, as he said, a South Texas judge accepted bribes in cases he oversaw for several years in exchange for favorable rulings in cases, according to federal prosecutors. A criminal complaint reveals the FBI has been investigating Delgado since 2016 and used an informant as an attorney who argued criminal cases before... Really, man?
What?
I mean, he's picking it up on the mic.
Is it?
Probably. I can't even see the mic, but I imagine it is.
No, it's fine.
Just stop that.
It's fine.
Look at your phone.
Huh?
I said look at your phone or something.
Why do you want me to look at my phone?
Because you're making that crinkling noise and the mic's gonna pick it up and it's just bad production.
Stop talking, you're bad production. Your voice is bad production. I'm not making crickling noise, I'm just... It's all good.
Thank you. It's just plain chocolate.
Yep. It's supposed to be sea salt caramel.
Mm.
Since you talked about it, I just grabbed the bags and they were on sale.
How are you liking it?
First time opening the bag.
Yeah.
This is dope. Dope's good chocolate, though.
Anyways, an FBI affidavit filed with the complaint said the informant had paid bribes to Delgado as far back as 2008. Those bribes were made in cash or in valuable items. The bribes
sucking dick.
The bribes would be arranged by telephone utilizing coded language and would be paid in person, according to the affidavit.
Wow. That sounds interesting. I use coded language.
Mm-hmm. In at least 2 cases, the informant said he bribed Delgado in return for favorable bond settings for clients facing criminal charges. In both cases, Delgado placed the clients on bond after the bribe was paid. The affidavit said the informant bribed Delgado as recent as January 17th. Wow, very early. When he paid Delgado $5,500 in a transaction captured by federal audio and recording equipment. The next day, Delgado placed the informant's client on bond. Wow. So he just here's some money. My client is now going to be free. That's a dirty judge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a good thing he's off the bench now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you covered that one. This is a good story. This is getting the stuff I'm going to rant about. Now, surprising because I don't read. However, the books I read in high school I thought were great. I didn't actually read To Kill a Mockingbird. But Huckleberry Finn. Anyway, Duluth schools to remove To Kill a Mockingbird, Huckleberry Finn from curriculum. The novels To Kill a Mockingbird and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn will no longer be required reading in the Duluth School District due to the book's use of a racial slur. A curriculum change supported by the local NAACP. Now, before we get into this, these books are, they're decent books.
And they're of their time.
That's the thing, is it's like, it's not whitewashing history, it's just washing away history kind of thing. There's nothing really wrong with Huckleberry Finn, other than they use the term, nigger and negro and stuff like that. That's about it. What you just said live on stream. But it's relevant.
It's in context.
Yeah.
Don't demonetize this, Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, not that I care anyway, but still. It's just, it's a part of history, and these books are, like I said, they're good books, they're
And in the context of the books themselves, they're being used appropriately for horrible things. They're using them as an insult to the characters, but they're there to display the power of those words, to impress upon the reader what these words mean, what they do, how they make people feel. Their import is there. They are there for a reason.
Yeah, and Huckleberry Finn is still a good book. I mean, he befriends, is it Tom, I think? Right? Stuff like that. And, like...
What do you think of Tom Sawyer? Huckleberry Finn.
That's Tom Sawyer. Huckleberry Finn is, something similar.
Is, I believe, the escaped slave who's selling down the Mississippi?
Yeah, that one. He still befriends the black dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He calls him Nigger Jim.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's just... It's a young kid that's all he knew at the time, really.
And also, it has impact in the story.
Yeah.
And
I'm not okay with banning books because of that, because again, it's a part of history and it's things that I feel need to be taught.
And they need to understand that yes, these are offensive words. These are objectively, these are bad words to use. They refer to people and they mean to demean people. Mm-hmm. But they need to understand that that's how people thought back in the day. That's to understand the power of those words, the power of language, so as not to, misinterpret something.
Are you trying to, search it or what?
There we go.
I was going to say, I was just watching Kenneth fail here on our collaborative document.
I was clicking the wrong thing.
Okay. Anyway, the district's intent is to be considerate of all its students, Carrie said. The district owes it to its students to not subject them to a racial slur that marginalizes them in their required learning, he said. He added the district leaders felt that there are many other options in literature that can teach the same lessons as the two novels without containing a racial slur, which I suppose is true. We felt that we could still teach the same standards and expectations through our novels that didn't require students to feel humiliated or marginalized by the use of the racial slurs. Stephen Witherspoon, is that like Reese Witherspoon relation there? I don't know.
Really?
President of the NAACP's local chapter, applauded the school district's decision to stop requiring students to read the books. Some people think the novels are educational literature for students, he said, but the novels are just hurtful and use hurtful language that has oppressed the people for over 200 years.
That's ridiculous.
And that's the kind of thing I pretty much agree. It's ridiculous. First of all, like, you should help, as a teacher, if these people are feeling this way, you should help them, like, through that feeling. You should say, hey,
To help them to understand that, yeah, this is how people thought. And clearly some people still think that way today, but the majority don't. Use it, to be impactful in your lesson.
It's like, what is it? They took away, I want to say they took away the Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit 451 is also widely banned.
That's banned. A lot of books are banned. A lot of the good old books, like even some of the Orwellian books, are banned now too because they're like too dystopian or whatever. I don't know. They scare people, kind of thing. But like realistically, they should scare people, and that's part of the point. Anyway, the American Library Association has listed the book as the 21st most banned or challenged book from 2000 to 2009, with Huckleberry Finn topping it as the 14th most banned or challenged book in that decade. Many of the challenges of To Kill a Mockingbird over the decades have come from black parents concerned about the book containing a racial slur being used in the classroom, according to the ALA. The racial slur being used in general, I don't feel like it's a bad thing. Also, I'm not okay with erasing history because it's history. Learning from it, moving forward. On the other hand, I'm somebody that doesn't place value into these words to the most part. I mean, but that's partially, I guess, because I'm white and I'm entitled. It has no value to me. But even as a racial slur, it really has no value for me. I don't care.
Here are some of the top banned books. So,
Catcher in
the Rye, The Grapes of Wrath, which was quite a good book.
Yeah, Grapes of Wrath is a good one.
To Kill a Mockingbird, The Color Purple, which I never read.
I never read The Color Purple.
Beloved by Toni Morrison. Not quite sure. Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies is one of those ones that scares people.
1984. Challenged in Jackson County, Florida, because of its pro-communist and contained explicit sexual matter.
That's funny. I see Steinbeck's.
Yeah, of Mice and Men. Yeah. Which is a very important book.
Mice and Men is another good one.
Wow, it's the most challenged.
Yeah, because of the mental retardation thing and
objectionable language, profanity, the use of the word nigger, racial language, racial epithets, taking God's name in vain.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Catch-22, A Brave New World, Animal Farm.
So there we go. There's those Orwellians, dude.
Yeah. As I Lay Dying, a Farewell to Arms, Invisible Man, Gone with the Wind? God.
Because doesn't Gone with the Wind have the racial slur in it?
Yes,
too?
it does have racial slur.
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Slaughterhouse 5 sounds interesting.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if that means Old Yeller has, been challenged or anything.
Probably. The Jungle. Lord of the Rings was...
What?
By some Christian community church.
No.
Yeah, apparently Call of the Wild by Jack London was banned.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a pretty good book series. But it was banned in that's like World War II kind of age. The Satanic Verses. That's funny. But I mean, there's so many.
Oh, by the way, I used the whole second verse same as the first thing, and my family died laughing. It's like second verse same as the first. So put me on a plane, so I can put them in the house. And they're like, everyone just starts laughing. They're like, "What did you just say?" They're like, "What is that from?" And I was like, "Helsinki Bridge." Oh, look, It smells of hypocrisy in here. Oh, look, the Catholic Church. And no little Timmy glued to your crotch. Ah, progress.
You need to stop going on enthusiastic walks.
I was taking a midnight stroll through the woods. You need to stop going on walks.
And you need to get the damn DSL fixed.
You get the damn DSL hooked up in here, woman.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many classic books that are instrumental in people's education. I mean, The Brave New World, 1984. I mean, Animal Farm. Animal Farm, I love that book because it was so interesting.
They're also really dark. I love dark shit, but yeah.
I mean, Of Mice and Men, Lord of the Flies. I mean, the books that we talked about, they're important books for people to read. They're important. I mean, they're the history of them, the knowledge that they
in slimy armor. May you have legal consent to watch this stream? I mean, you agreed to watch the stream when you hit start watching.
Yeah,
so,
per the terms of service of Twitch and all that.
Something terms of service. You admit that you are 18 or
feel
whatever.
Free.
Or you lied. I mean, whatever.
Yep. So, next.
Yeah, carry on.
So, Steve-O rescues a stray dog and
story,
finds true love. So, Daredevil Steve-O has fallen head over heels, and this time wasn't for during one of his patented stunts. While filming his new YouTube mountaineering series, Ultimate Expedition, the 43-year-old prankster...
God, he's old now.
Yeah, he really is. Encountered a street dog in Peru and ended up becoming his co-star. The love story started when Jackass star arrived in Peru to start filming his new reality series, which dropped January 17th for YouTube. Didn't even know he was doing a series? Maybe I'll watch it on YouTube.
See, listen here. We didn't give you consent. You consented to watch the stream by clicking the start stream button. My stream is
it's rated mature,
above.
so
yeah,
you have to agree to
you have to
start
agree.
watching for the mature content and all that jazz.
Cool.
Yes.
I'm going to revoke consent.
This is now watching rape. It's stare rape.
It's a stare rape. Oh god.
While he approached several dogs with a handful of kibble, only Wendy came over to him. After he'd gone inside to a building that didn't allow pets, Steve thought he wouldn't see her again, but she returned to visit him later on as he exited a local restaurant and brought some friends to pet too. From then on, the pair were inseparable, and after a bath and a trip to the vet, Wendy boarded the bus to the mountains along with Steve-O's Human Ultimate Expedition casting. Let's show a picture of them.
Do we have a picture of them?
No, click on the link. Let's show a picture from there. Isn't I mean,
is this turning into a porn stream only accidentally?
Oh no.
Oh no.
But I mean, look at that dog. I mean, she looks like quite a good dog.
Yep, I guess I can't really fucking... I was trying to find a picture. I guess it's that. Is this a German Shepherd thing?
No, definitely not a German Shepherd. The body type and hair's way too different. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, let's just show a picture.
Yeah, sure.
Just so that people can get the full context of
That might be it's restream.io from behind the curtain.
Here again. So that's Steve-O and his new dog Wendy. I mean, she looks like a really nice dog. I mean, even for a stray. It's a big dog too. Good size.
There's some other dogs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an Australian Shepherd for sure.
Yep. Don't know what kind of dog she is.
I'm pretty sure I'm fairly certain that it's a German Shepherd mix. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, maybe some sort of mutt.
Because that's what the whole facial features of a German Shepherd, but it's like a smaller than a Shepherd normally. It's some sort of mix. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
There we go.
Next.
Next. Okay. Pillar of the community. Deported from U.S. to a land he barely knows. Welcome to real life. With nothing but the clothes on his back and less than $300 in his pocket.
I hate how news stories always talk about that.
Howdy.
Nobody carries cash. Yeah, if somebody deported me, it'd be like, so, he's leaving nothing with the clothes on his back and nothing and no money in his wallet.
Do you get to keep your credit cards?
Yeah, you own the credit cards.
Then all your money's there.
Yeah, I know, but you know how news agencies are. They gotta make it sound more, human relatable.
Yes.
By adding some controversy.
Yes, Amaradi was put on a plane and deported to Jordan, the country he left 39 years ago to pursue his American dream. His 94-year-old mother sat in a wheelchair at the arrivals gate, overcome with emotion as she waited for Adi. She hadn't seen him in 20 years. As he walked out, his siblings, nephews, and nieces broke out in cheers, but they were soon in tears. Adi fell to his knees, a broken man in his mother's arms. Adi lived in America for nearly 40 years. He has a wife who is a U.S. citizen and 4 daughters who are also U.S. citizens. He owns several businesses in his adopted hometown of Youngstown, Ohio. A week ago, he was deported. For more than 20 years, his life has been a legal battle, but with the help of an Ohio congressman, he was able to remain in the U.S. That all changed when U.S. President Donald Trump took office last year and doubled down on immigration. In the 1980s, Adi held a green card, but he lost his permanent resident status in the early 1990s after moving to Brazil for 3 years with his wife. When he returned, Adi tried to apply for a new card, but was rejected. Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan describes Adi as a pillar of their community who creates jobs with his multiple businesses and distributes hundreds of turkeys to the poor on Thanksgiving. Among Adi's businesses are a hookah bar, a convenience store, and a deli. I mean, he sounds like a decent dude, especially if he's giving out turkeys to the poor.
Yeah, I know. I mean, this sounds like the kind of person you want to keep around in your country. Yep. A model U.S. citizen. And he's not even a U.S. citizen. I mean, that's the thing. Like, clearly
so
he had everybody
where
fighting.
That came from. The next story.
Oh, yes. Well, I'd seen it earlier that people were using it to do that, and then I just saw that story.
These are meh.
Yeah, the ones I have are better.
Because these are dark chocolate.
No, the ones I have are also dark chocolate, which I like dark chocolate. But it's also, the nice thing about the ones I have is that there's actual, sea salt on it, actual sea salt. So you get the crunch of the sea salt, and it just bursts on your tongue.
I'm not too big of a fan of dark chocolate.
Yeah.
It needs to be sweet. Milk with butter.
Nah, dark chocolate's good.
No, it's all about milk. It's actually all about white chocolate. Like me, baby.
Okay. It's all about that dark chocolate.
What? You ain't dark chocolate, baby.
No.
You're caramel. You're fucking caramel, babe.
Damn, sweet. Sweet caramel. Anyways, so... Pornhub and Twitter bans AI-generated deep fakes videos that put female celebrity faces on adult actresses' bodies. Let's see. Pornhub has banned so-called deepfakes, videos that employ machine learning to superimpose people's faces on adult actors' bodies. The streaming site called the fake videos, which often feature female celebrities, non-consensual, and said it would be removing the clips as soon as users alerted it to them. Twitter also said it will not tolerate deepfake videos, adding it would suspend accounts found to be the original posters of intimate media that had been created without the subject's consent. Pornhub Vice President Corey Price said users have started to flag content like this, and we're taking it down as soon as we encounter the flags. We encourage anyone who's encountered this issue to visit our content removal page so they can officially make a request. Deep fakes are created using a program called FakeApp, which gives users... Yes, thank you for that. I was about to do that myself. Access to artificial intelligence routines and allows them to swap faces in a clip. Reports suggest actress Emma Watson, Jennifer Lawrence, and Sophie Turner, and singer Ariana Grande had been targeted for users by taking images of their faces and feeding them into the app.
First of all, Emma Watson has nudes, Jennifer Lawrence has nudes already, and so does Ariana Grande. I'm not sure about Sophie Turner, but weren't those other ones, weren't Emma Watson and Jennifer Lawrence part of the fappening?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Anyone dare me to eat dinner tonight? You are weird. I don't even know what to describe you. Oddly kinky individual. I don't know. Something. You are something.
Yes.
Oh no.
And we watched a video on... somebody generating a deepfake video. It was not super convincing. Maybe it would have been better with a higher quality video.
It probably depends on the video. Also, if they, made it higher frame export. Also depends.
Quite possibly.
Anyway, relevant to us on one of our media platforms where 99 Armor is, this Twitch streamer is avenging his grandmother by prank calling a scam artist. Kit Boga has become a rising Twitch star by live streaming himself for hours at a time, but unlike most streamers on the platform, he's not playing video games. Kit Boga has become one of the most popular scam baiters on the internet and has saved potentially thousands of people from falling victim to tech support scams in the process by raising awareness about different types of fraud via his Twitch channel. Scam baiting is essentially when the internet do-gooders bait scammers into wasting hours of their time or disclosing information that would later get them prosecuted in the interest of the public good. His grandmother, who has since passed away, suffered from dementia in her final years. When Kit Boga paid her visit, he was shocked at the way she was being taken advantage of. By the way, I'm going to go out on a note here and say, it doesn't matter if you're old and suffering from dementia. It doesn't matter shit. Old people get taken advantage of by scammers every day. Old people get taken advantage of by, real fucking utility companies scamming the shit out of them.
Oh, yeah, it actually talks about that in this.
Yeah, they get taken advantage of all the fucking time. Mm-hmm. That's... If you have a grandparent and you've ever heard them on the phone with anybody, you know it happens. It is ridiculous and it's complete bullshit. Anyway, the elderly woman was receiving multiple phone bills for phone lines she didn't use. Landscapers were ripping her off. She was paying a woman hundreds of dollars a week to come clean her house and rid a computer she hardly used of theoretical viruses. Last year alone, victims lost over $120 million to tech support scams, according to the FCC. Probably more than that. Although the government does provide a portal where scam victims can seek help, the majority recover only a small percentage of the money they lost. In addition to the fake tech support scam, Kit Boga has encountered fake IRS scammers threatening jail time if users don't pay thousands of dollars to the government. Then there are folks who say they're the government giving out grants and all you have to do to obtain one is give us an iTunes gift card. It's like, Kit Boga, it's the worst thing, but people fall for this stuff.
So good on you, Kit Boga. I mean, he actually has 1,000 subscribers.
Nice. I wish I could have subscribers one day.
Yeah.
I don't know, nobody comes and really watches us do news. Kenneth, you need to go, post our news show on Reddit or something.
I don't know. But, I mean, it's definitely good that somebody's out there creating awareness and is really doing something interesting.
No, and I'm totally on board with, trolling scammers and shit like that because, fuck them, honestly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fuck those people and they're taking advantage of old people and such.
Well, it's not even just of old people. They're just taking advantage of anybody. Stupid people and all of everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, people are stupid and sometimes they deserve stuff like that. But still
just a brief little aside. SpaceX's Heavy Falcon launch was YouTube's second biggest live stream ever, with a viewer count of 2.3 million concurrent views, coming in second only to the Red Bull Stratostrum.
Oh, nice.
Which racked in 8 million concurrent views in 2012.
Well, SpaceX is now partnered with YouTube.
Yeah. Well, they probably well partnered before that.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying, if this was like Mixer or Twitch or anything, just boom, partnership.
Partnership? Please. They own a portion of the platform at that point.
Maybe.
If you get 2 million people... I think if 2 million people were simultaneously watching one person, I think it'd probably crash Twitch.
Maybe.
Anyways. But this is actually pretty interesting and also very dystopian. So, Chinese police are don high-tech glasses to nab suspects. They're sporting high-tech sunglasses so they can spot suspects in a crowded train station using the newest of facial recognition technology that has drawn concerns among human rights groups.
Facial rec. It always, begins the line. It's always like drawing the line in the 1984 super dystopian.
I mean, that's what China's building.
Yeah, well, we're doing it too in some places. Like New York has like their camera systems, face rec, and they're trying to make it better all the time. Was it over there in the UK and stuff?
The UK has actually one of the world's largest like CCTV, like surveillance systems. Yep. That's not a good thing. Fucking hell, the government just needs to back off of that shit.
Well, like like as people say, part of it depends upon freedom. But like, I'll have to show you that anime I watched recently. That's like super futuresque, but it's fairly on point, I think. I'll try to dig it up eventually.
So far, the technology has allowed police to nab 7 suspects accused of crimes ranging from human trafficking to hit and runs, as well as another 26 people who were using fake IDs, according to the state-owned People's Daily, quoting the city's police department. So take that with a grain of salt, because you have State China talking to State China, confirming that the technology that they really want to go widespread is working very effectively, catching very dangerous people.
Well, I don't know if it's very dangerous, but...
I mean, a human trafficker? I think
that's dangerous, but everybody else, hit and run.
And the 26 people using fake IDs?
I mean, that part maybe would be a big deal, but I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, the system is part of China's effort to build a digital surveillance system able to use a variety of biometric data, from photos and iris scans to fingerprints, to keep close tabs on the movements of the entire population. China, we read a story 2 weeks ago, that China's building a camera system so advanced they could track a person. They'd know if a person was more than like 100 meters away from their house.
That's so Chinese authority can go in and raid your place.
Raid your place. They don't need to know. They don't need you not at your house to raid your house. Anyways, the special glasses are being used by 4 officers positioned at the entrances to the Zhengzhou East Station, according to the People's Daily. The glasses have cameras connected to a smartphone-like device that allows them to take mugshots of suspicious individuals and compare them to a database back at headquarters.
It probably is a smartphone.
Probably, yeah.
Smartphone-like device. You mean a smartphone, right?
Yeah. Experts say China is racing ahead of Western countries in deploying facial scanners, owing to its comparatively lax privacy laws and because Chinese are used to having their pictures, fingerprints, and other personal details taken.
You know what's funny about this being in like Asian countries? How does the facial recognition system even tell them apart? I mean, even Chinese-made phones can't tell them apart from real people. Looking at you, Samsung. Oh, Samsung.
Samsung or Blue or whoever.
Samsung is Chinese, yeah. I was going to say Samsung's not Chinese.
Samsung's
They're not producing
Korean.
Chinese. They have large holdings in China.
Probably because they have cheap Samsung phones in China, but Samsung's a South Korean company.
Yeah, but
like Blue is a Chinese company.
Well, I'm saying like a lot of like Samsung, for instance, all the Samsung like esports teams, they're all Chinese, and they're for China.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure China owns a large stake in Samsung, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be weird if companies just support
names.
Esport teams because they make money and their publicity. You want to support a winning team if you want to show your product off.
Well, I guess.
So if it's China, so be it.
It is China.
China.
It was so China one year that Samsung Blue versus Samsung White. Yeah. Samsung versus Samsung. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Samsung wins.
Exactly. Samsung wins.
Yep.
Anyway, so banks are beginning to use facial recognition instead of cards at cash machines, while the travel and leisure industry also see opportunities. China Southern Airlines this year began doing away with boarding passes in favor of the scheme.
Again, the question is, how does it tell them apart?
Fingerprints.
Huh? Oh, the fingerprints, yeah, but I'm talking about the face rec stuff. Since, they can't even unlock their phones.
But the programs have drawn fierce criticisms from human rights organizations and privacy advocates who are concerned for their potential for abuse. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a massive potential for abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But it's China, and China's going to do what China's going to do. Anyways, this is just a little story for book readers.
I don't know. This is Scribds, new unlimited plan for audiobooks. Is it Scribes?
Yeah, it's Scribed.
Scribes. New unlimited plan for audiobooks and ebooks might be an avid reader's dream. Scribes just announced it'll be reinstating an unlimited plan offering relatively unfettered access to ebooks, audiobooks, news, magazines, documents, and sheet music. More news. We wouldn't be included. Even as audio, we could be a podcast. Anyway, unfortunately, the service sounds like it won't be truly unlimited, capping downloads and streams at a certain point. But given how hard it can be to download a damn audiobook, it still might be a good option for those who prefer the digital or spoken page. According to an interview with Fast Company, the service axed the plans the first time around after a small amount of super users consume hundreds of titles per month, ruining the fun for everyone. I'm going to go ahead and limb here and say, so fucking what? Just because there's people that actually like to read. Mm-hmm. The other part is, they might just be people exporting stuff.
That's what I'm thinking, which is probably why they shut it down.
Yeah.
Because you can't have people exporting things that you have licenses for.
Yeah.
Although
it's going to happen anyway.
Oh, yeah, inevitably.
Even
but it's going to be a lot harder.
They pay for it.
Well, it's going to be a lot harder if they have stricter caps and such.
I suppose.
Loose enough for most people, but strict enough so that hundreds don't get consumed per month.
Yep. Hopefully Scribe sets the limits low enough to keep the offering alive, but high enough to not punish the normal sort of voracious reader that might read a ton of books per month, but would never approach the century mark. Yeah, century mark being, 1,000.
100.
Is it 100?
Yes.
I feel like you could read 100 books in a month if you really tried. Like, if you did what I do, gaming, and you do it with books.
Like, if they're like novellas, maybe.
God damn it.
No. Novellas is a certain type of book. It's smaller than a novel, but more than like a tiny book. It's like a middle ground, so it's called like a novella. It's because it's a small book. It also refers to a genre of books.
Yes.
Because the genre of books normally meets the criteria of being a novella.
Mm-hmm. No, but even still, like, I still feel like somebody could possibly consume 100 books with make.
You gotta consider. How short must those books be?
They don't have to be that short. Like I said, if they consume books like I consume games,
I don't know, man. Because
I consume hundreds of hours of games per month.
That's true, but you also got to consider an average, solidly length book could take probably about 5 to 10 hours to read. A single book, even if you're a fast reader, and I'm a fairly fast reader, I can tear through a good 500-page book in a good couple hours, maybe 5 to 10, somewhere in that range, realistically. So let's say we'll put 10 hours per book. Most people in their given evenings maybe have, I would say, 5 hours after cleaning, cooking, doing lunch, etc., outside of weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a given week, you may be able to consume 3, maybe 4 books, with solidly well-sized books. So, in a given month, you're probably going to consume maybe 20 books, That's what I'm saying. If you're reading decently sized books, or even relatively smaller books, you'd still be hard-pressed to hit 100. Like I said, unless we were reading those tiny novellas, because I think you could probably cut through 100 novellas, because those things ain't much. Probably less than 100 pages. So.
It just depends on what you're reading.
Yeah.
All that.
Yep, but, hey, I used to be subscribed to Scribed, and I think I'm going to resubscribe, because I like to read books, and Scribed actually has a very good selection of books. And other things, like school books, normal books, they have a very good selection. But on to Crazy and Stupid. Oh, the first story's kind of funny. So, Florida boy gets trapped in vending machine.
This is the one of the kid that's in the, he crawled inside the claw machine and shit?
Yes. So when a young Florida boy wanted a stuffed toy, he crawled into the claw-style vending machine, into the play area of the restaurant to fetch one, and he got stuck inside the glass-encased structure.
First of all, it's kind of amazing they got in there, because usually they have, when you hit the door, there's a trap door inside that stops you from getting up to the next story.
Mm-hmm.
So, the fact that he got in there means it's usually how this stuff works. If you can get in there, you can get out.
Maybe.
He probably just couldn't get out with the stuffed animal.
Yeah. But thankfully, an off-duty firefighter, Jeremy House, was also having dinner at the Beef O'Brady's restaurant in Titusville on Florida's Atlantic coast. We needed all that detail, thank you. He yelled for somebody to call 911, and his colleagues from a nearby fire station joined him in rescuing the boy named Mason. He went in, but obviously couldn't come back out the same way, said the battalion chief, Gregory Sutton, told the Associated Press. Mason sat atop the stuffed toys while firefighters took just 5 minutes to get him out. Sutton says the boy was embarrassed but wasn't in distress, and the machine sustained minimal damage.
They're just like, alright, so,
That's the thing. Just
break
open the
glass.
door.
There's a fucking door.
The thing's the door, yeah. So.
Yeah, you just get somebody to get the key and open the door, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Or they're just like, alright, break the glass. Just break it. That's minimal damage, so.
You know how much a glass pane like that would cost to replace?
A pane that size? Not that much, because it's super thin.
Yeah.
And it's not cut anything specific, it's a fucking square for the most part.
It's expensive.
It costs more to get a smaller piece of glass cut.
Mm-hmm.
For a car door, it costs fucking $300 or something like that. It's expensive to get anything replaced on a car. Windshields aren't even that expensive, I don't think.
Yeah, and like my car insurance has a $100 deductible to replace any of our cars' windshields.
That's not that bad.
Is it?
I said that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Very good. Shit, I had a $500 deductible for anything. They did like $2,000, $3,000 worth of work for my car, and I was like, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, you're gonna love this.
Yes. I've heard this story too. Girl Scouts eye whether cookie seller near San Diego pot shop broke rules. URBN, which I'm assuming is Urban Leaf. Yes, URBN Leaf posted a photograph of the girl on Friday.
URBN Leaf.
Yes. There you go. Outside the shop that sells medical and recreational marijuana, and invited customers on its Instagram account to come get some Girl Scout cookies. So see, they even helped, PR for them.
Yeah, they're promoting Girl Scouts, Girl Scout cookies, and making that girl in the organization money.
It's probably that
What's
girl's
not
parents.
to love?
Yep. The San Diego Girl Scout Council is looking into whether a scout who was photographed selling cookies outside of marijuana dispensary broke any rules. Officials were trying to identify the girl and talk to her family because she was in a commercial area, which is not allowed. Council spokeswoman Mary Doyle said in an email Monday.
Now,
I don't know if that's bullshit.
Is this just the California Girl Scouts or the national organization saying that?
Because that's the only place people go to.
Yeah, I see Girl Scouts all the time.
Walmart
Post out in front of Walmart or H-E-B's or at the Walgreens. They're there because it's where people traffic.
Apparently, Walmart doesn't allow my family's newspaper in there.
What?
Yeah, they won't allow us to put racks in there.
But they allowed the Tribune.
I think so. And also, what's worse is they just allow like random humdy-sumdy, churchy corporate, church groups just go sell crosses and all sorts of other shit.
Yeah, they do. Often.
All the time. Ugh. You just walk by and, hello, would you like to support the church? Hail Satan. and then they're like, well, do I have the cross for you? And it's upside down and shit, and you're like, maybe.
And it just suddenly catches on fire.
Well. A complete with flaming effect. I didn't even know it did that, but I guess it does. Did I think at some point a true Satanist would be like, sold.
Yeah.
Like you just look over there. It's just like a stupid old school horror, B-rate, C-rate movie horror thing where it zooms in, it darkens around, and then you start hearing fucking tongues being said, and it's just like, oh, it's just a spiritus, it starts on fire, and it's just like, whoa.
Luces espiritus zombies.
Yes, and you're just like, sold.
Yeah. Thanks for supporting the church.
Yeah.
Of Satan.
Sorry. Oh. You can get away with that. You can sell crosses, but like, just like they could go upside down. You just like have dual mounts on there. You could right side up or upside down. You choose. We don't care. Anyway. You are being Leaf founder. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna give it to him.
You're being Leaf. Man.
Wilson.
Wilson.
Said the girl was with her parents and was just passing by with her wagon. He said he likes to support local fundraising efforts. Cannabis is now legal in California, and the direct result of that is the munchies a lot of the times, he joked. The photo drew praise and criticism. Some objected to a child photographs outside the dispensary. As Girl Scouts, we assume good intent, Doyle said. When we learn that a girl is in violation of a standard guideline, we almost always discover that the parent was unaware of the rules.
You gotta go where the people are, man. That's just good business.
Also, going where people have the munchies. Like, this is all jokes. This has happened before. Didn't a bakery across the street from a dispensary make tons of money or something like that? Yeah, it's... Woof, okay. If a rule is broken again, the girl could lose awards she earned by selling a certain number of boxes, which she sold a shit ton if I remember correctly. But Doyle said that is determined on a case-by-case basis. Since the use of recreational marijuana became legal in California on January 1st, I thought it was legal before that.
No, the recreational is legal now.
Well, a lot of people that I've been playing with...
people used to get the doctor slip to get the medical stuff.
I don't even know if they had doctor slips.
No,
a lot of my friends. No. I'm talking about a lot of the people that I played with, that I was playing with recently, that me and Barn have played with, like Pot and all them. They're just doing dabs all the time and smoking pot all the time.
Well, there's two different types of things, because I was researching in California. There's medically prescribed marijuana, where you have to get an actual license from a doctor. Or you can get like a referral from a doctor. Mm. So normally the license is referred to people with like chronic conditions, but normal people who had issues could get one. No, but most people just get...
Doc, hit me up with that marijuana.
But there's a lot more paperwork and it's a lot more regulated by the state and such. So most people just get the referral, and that's good enough. You get the referral from the doctor, and then you can go to any dispensary and be like, yeah, the doctor says I can get some stuff, and they're like, okay, pick whatever you like.
So it's just like it's just like telling your doctor that, hey, I want Ambien CR, like we were talking about with ad stuff. Because they're like, recommend this to your doctor or whatever the fuck. Same thing. Yeah. And they're usually just like, yeah, sure, we can give it a try. Unless your doctor's good and it's like, yeah, I know people use it. It's not good stuff.
And there was doctors a dime a dozen who'd be like, oh, you need a referral? Yeah. I was reading one guy who's like, oh yeah, I went into the doctor's office. The doctor wasn't even there. We did the thing over Skype. They just dropped me in the room. The doctor's on the thing. They're like, what is your problem? Okay, here you go. And then they just printed it out, and the assistant just gave him the slip, and was like, here you go. Like that's how easy it is to get one in California before now.
Yep. Anytime we can help out by driving more people to support local fundraising, like a Girl Scout selling cookies, we'll do that. He said. There we go.
No. What you want to do? Okay, ready.
What you want to do is... No, I did it. This is the last story.
No.
Let it happen.
No, hold up. Let me fix this.
Can you fix it?
Okay, so you want to go to break and then page break, which is also control enter. Because then that just forces the text down automatically. It looks cleaner.
I mean, I could have just hit...
Nah.
No, it's totally fine.
No.
Cover the fucking story, damn it. Because it's kind of funny.
It is funny. So, former dominatrix loses fight to keep job as Hudson cop.
Is this a male or female?
Female. Dominatrix.
Dominatrix. Instead of
what's the term?
I don't
for
know.
male?
Is it dominator?
I don't know. Google that shit.
I don't know. This is a very good question.
I guess male dominatrix?
This is gonna be so horrible.
Is there a male version?
Yes, definitely the more popular these days because men are no longer.
They're just called doms. Short for dominant.
There's so nice to this tag. I didn't know what to say. Dom is male, Dame is a female.
Dominatrix refers to a professional domme doing it for money. Interesting.
So, I don't think so, since males are seen as dominant from the beginning. I guess so. Because we know that as soon as we're done, you try to be. Yep, it's called Pip. It's called.
Oh gosh, Yahoo Answers.
The best.
These are all Yahoo Answers.
They're all Yahoo Answers. Beautiful.
Well, there's actually a Wikipedia article.
Is there a Wikipedia article?
Yeah.
Let's see. Plural dominatrixes, or dominatrices. The woman's next door is dominatrix. Pay for SL per dominatrix. Term dominatrix is little used in non-professional BDSM. Term dominatrix.
I guess it's just the dominator, the dom.
So dominant women are dominant professional preferences.
But the dominatrix refers to somebody getting paid for it.
Yeah. Dominatrix is like, hey, this is fucking... what my tastes are unconventional as you open up a room. Welcome to the Fungin.
Like, if you click on the link, it actually shows the dominatrix, and she's talking about, oh yes, people do this, or use this, or she's got whips and chains. They don't excite me.
They don't excite me. Apparently they don't excite Kenneth. I don't know.
Anyway, so a Hudson County sheriff officer had lost her job because she previously appeared in bondage films as a dominatrix.
Dominatrix is the feminine form of Latin dominator, a ruler or lord, and was originally used in a non-sexual sense. It's the OG. So, if I want to use Latin, it is dominator. It's the feminine form of Latin dominator. So yeah. Dominator.
Hudson County Sheriff Frank Scolari told the Jersey Journal.
Oh wow, there's a Vice article about being a professional male dom. Alright then.
A hearing officer made the decision to fire Kirsten Hyman on Wednesday. Scolari said he agreed with the Kristen Hyman on Wednesday. Scolari said he agreed with the decision. The department suspended her for 6 days before her academy graduation last year, saying she failed to disclose that she appeared in films and sometimes saw clients privately for money.
So? What's that have to do with
I guess you have to
anything?
disclose those kind of things if you want to become a cop.
But it's not illegal.
Well, I guess not.
No. Well, I mean, there's open places that are just down for dominatrices and things, so, you know.
Court documents showed Hyman told investigators she never appeared naked and didn't perform any sex acts in the video. The suspension was rescinded by the judge and Hyman was sworn in June 8th. She then went on paid administrative leave pending the hearing. So, click on the link and let's roll the video from the dominatrix. I don't know if it's the dominatrix that this story's talking about, but it's A. It's at the top.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, come up here. Alright, we're gonna, there we go. That was so weird.
I'm Miss Robin. I have been in the lifestyle for 20 years, and I have been a professional dominatrix for 9. My dungeon is full of equipment. I have canes and paddles for impact. I have rope and chain for bondage. I have other leather equipment for bondage. I have straight jackets, breathing devices, all kinds of tools. My clients are very varied.
She sounds like she's really old.
I have one that's into tickling, so I would put him in restraints and spend 45 minutes to an hour tickling him, which I really enjoy. That's one of my favorites. I have one that's into rope, and so I would spend that time tying him up in different positions.
I love it. This is the Des Moines Register,
I have a
which means
woman
it's coming
that
out of
comes
Iowa.
just for spankings, so it's very varied. How does 50 Shades of Grey depict the lifestyle? Is it accurate? I believe it's good and bad. I think the erotic scenes are very close to what we actually experience. and I felt those were very well written. As far as the people in 50 Shades being, quote, the norm, definitely not. Most of the people in the lifestyle have not been abused and are fairly normal, healthy people. Lots of doctors, lawyers. It's an expensive habit. So you have to make good money to really enjoy it.
I mean, people just like getting beat. It's a
stress relief because part of it is because being a lawyer and being a doctor, you have to be quite dominant all the time. I guess be in control of things.
Part of it's just like you're dominant all the time. It's just sometimes.
And then when you go with the dominatrix, you can just let go and indulge yourself. So I guess it makes sense. People do what they do.
I think whenever you do that, it's supposed to have a certain level of trust with that person. But I guess if you're a rich person, you don't want other people knowing. It's just like
because I imagine if somebody found out if you're like a successful lawyer or doctor, it'd probably hurt your career.
Yeah, unless you're somebody like me, where if I ever became successful, I'm like, I do whatever the fuck I want. What I do in my own time is what I do in my own time. And then I would have a bunch of angry moms against me, and it's like, listen, I put some worse people than me behind bars. Can we not go through this? Seriously, people. I mean, I could just... You know what? Hey, let's get Crazy Tony out of bars. Hey, let's release him back out in the streets. They think I'm a menace, we'll bring that guy back. Yeah. Let's see how long it takes then. He's now out on bail. And he's out early on parole.
Anyway, so that's the last of our stories for this evening, folks.
Yes, that would be all of... Table Talk Thursday for this week.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on Table Talk Thursday, episode 44. Please join us again next week as we continue to cover news in the world and things in your area.
And fun stories about dominatrixes and other things.
Yes, apparently losing your job.
Yes, so anyway, everybody, peace out, have a good night, and we'll see you eventually at some point. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Definitely check out Tuesdays, where my co-host here does a anime talk show with a friend of ours.
Yep. And possibly now another community member. I think he might be a forever fit. I don't really know. But anyway.
And that show happens when?
7:30 CST PM.
Yeah, definitely I would suggest checking it out. They talk about quite a lot of interesting things. They usually have special guests quite often.
Next week is actually a guest show, yes.
Oh, so even better. What a better time to get in than to have a special guest.
Yep. So, catch us next time. Peace.